Howdy and welcome back. I'm Steven and this is FWP Reviews. Fans of the book and many people around the world have been slowly and patiently waiting for a faithful and true adaptation to the book. Lynch's Dune is good fun, but Denis Villeneuve's Dune is cinematic bliss. Ladies and gentlemen, Dune has arrived. Like Star Wars and Game of Thrones, an intergalactic empire is ruled over and fought over by multiple powerful houses. Shady motivations, spice, and money motivate the actions of all of the greedy and more powerful houses. The Atreides family, which our main character Paul Atreides belongs to, is called to Dune, the home of the spice, to control spice production. The spice is the most valuable substance in the entire galaxy, and it only comes from one planet. Dune. When the Atreides arrive, it seems like it would be a great honor for them to be in control of the most valuable resource, as according to the Emperor, but the walls begin to close in around them and they realize that this is not exactly what they thought it would be. The first chapter of what could be the best duology or trilogy ever made begins with this movie, and I've got a lot of thoughts. This movie, Dune, is everything I wanted it to be and more. I will save you the suspense. It is the best movie of the year so far. It is also one of the most all-encompassing theater experiences I have had in nearly 2 years. I and many people walking out of the theater had one main concern, and that was, is there going to be a part 2? This part 1 feels an awful lot like a part 1. Wasn't marketed necessarily like that, but it definitely feels like a part 1, and there needs to be a part 2, and I really want the part 2 right now. And a lot of the people's concerns coming out was that the part 2 hadn't been confirmed, so who knows if there's ever going to be a part 2. This could just be a one-off for the rest of eternity. Biggest missed opportunity in the history of everything. Warner Bros. Is no stranger to doing that. But by the time I got around to filming this video, Dune 2 has been confirmed, which is excellent news. And here's to hoping that Dune 2 is excellent as well so that Dune 3 can get made. Here's to hoping. I hope that part 3 gets here eventually, and I hope that 2 gets here really fast. But today, let's talk about my thoughts on part 1. I saw Dune in IMAX, and that massively enhanced the experience for me. It has reignited the passion in me to own a huge home theater so that I can experience something like this over and over and over again in my own home on my own time. The absolute scale and jarring scope of this movie is something that needs to be experienced for the first time in a theater. If you can and are willing, I implore you to see this masterclass of filmmaking on the big screen. Denis Villeneuve has time and time again proven himself to be arguably one of the best, if not the best, working director at this time. He has become known for combining this sort of art house style with the big blockbuster style and creating just pure cinematic bliss. He has done it multiple times, and each time he has done it has somehow got more and more impressive. With films like Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, and many more knockouts under his belt already, to say that there could potentially be a Dune trilogy at this caliber of movie all the way through, it could be the best trilogy ever made. The intensive and beautiful visuals and attention to detail that comes with Denis Villeneuve's methodical way of filmmaking works so well for this world and this movie. The scaling is extremely effective, and it manages to put you into this world and let you know just how huge it is to be a part of this world. The visuals in this movie are nothing short of impeccable. The movie jumps off the screen like a painting at almost every point. The endless waves of desert sand draw you in and bring you right into the mix of it. This, mixed with the massive and incredibly impressive sets built for this movie, make for something mind-blowingly good. I have heard that these sets are so big that Rebecca Ferguson repeatedly got lost in them, which I want to go here. Can they open this as a museum? On the note of Rebecca Ferguson and the rest of the cast, my god, what a cast. When a large and talented cast comes in, you hope that they will give it their all and bring their A game. And this cast most certainly does that. Timothy Chalamet has managed to sell me on this more boyish part of Paul Atreides, and because of how well-rounded he's becoming as an actor, I can definitely see him stepping into the more Colin McLaughlin style Paul Atreides that we got in 1984 extremely well. I'm excited to see that in part 2, but his actions and his acting in this first part are extremely commendable. Rebecca Ferguson, along with Timothy Chalamet, is really the co-lead of this movie, and as usual, she is impeccable. If the movies continue to play out like the book, I'm really excited to see where Rebecca Ferguson's character goes, because she has a lot of exciting stuff in the next half a book and then the second book, and to see her in that role would be incredible, and already knowing that she's up to snuff, I'm sold. Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Jason Momoa, and Sharon Duncan Brewster are all also incredible. One in particular out of that list I really enjoyed was the menacing and brooding performance that Stellan Skarsgård gave. I mean, the Baron in the 1984 movie was a little goofy, and the Baron in the book is supposed to be this sort of menacing and all-encompassing villain. I mean, he's the richest man there is. He's a bald, rich man. Of course he's scary, right? And of course, Stellan Skarsgård is excellent, and the way his character is set up, played out in this movie, as well as the fat suit and the floating elements, he is actually incredibly intimidating, despite something that could be interpreted as more goofy as we saw in the 1984. He's a downright diabolical villain, and I love him. I feel like Jason Momoa also brought a lot of heart to this movie, and I really enjoyed his performance, and Jason Momoa continues to impress me as one of these actors that seems like he could just become a goofy action star. He really gives a lot of depth that you would hope he would be able to give, but you're not always sure he may be able to. And at this point, there's no more underestimating him. He's clearly becoming a very good talent in his work. We don't see a lot of Dave Bautista, Zendaya, or Javier Bardem in their roles, but I'm hoping that since their roles will be a little bit bigger in the second movie, that we'll be able to see just how incredible their performances are. But what I've seen already, I've loved. I am missing some of the characters that weren't included, but I'm sure that they'll be included in the second part in some way. And I also think that Dr. Yue was incredibly underutilized, and it kind of upset me, but so minor in comparison to the greats of this movie. This movie teases a lot of what's to come in Dune 2, and having already read the book and knowing where it's going, seeing what's been teased for part 2 makes me incredibly excited, because I know this movie is going where the book goes. It seems that this duology or trilogy will be going in the all-encompassing circular story style that we see in the book. This movie has incredibly faithfully adapted the book and made it something beautiful on the big screen. The time and attention from the methodical filmmaking style of Denis Villeneuve is being taken to make this movie something that feels like it's in a world that is lived in and has been lived in for thousands and thousands of years. The Bene Gesserit feel like an incredible and dark force underrunning the narrative of the story, running parallel to it and influencing things from the outside just like they were in the book. It manages to make them intimidating and to make them feel like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And with how this movie is playing out, it feels like they're going to be a part of what brings everything into the fold just like they should, and it's going to play perfectly, almost too perfectly thematically into the movie, and to make the themes of the book and the themes of the movie come into one and make this something so special. Hans Zimmer passed up working on Tenet to do the score for Dune because he loved the book so much. I was mad at Hans Zimmer for not being on Tenet, and I didn't really know why until just recently when he announced it. But after hearing the Dune soundtrack, I'll take what we got for Tenet. The score for Tenet's already incredible, but Hans Zimmer on Dune absolutely killed it. It creates this inspiring and epic atmosphere that makes the world feel even more grand and bigger than already has been done by the excellent visuals and direction. I'm still listening to this soundtrack regularly because it is just so good. To perfectly sum up my feelings, it feels so good to walk out of a movie theater, having wanted something so badly to be so good, to have it somehow even exceed those expectations. We're witnessing the birth of the next great movie series, and here's to hoping that the rest of the series lives up to even a marginal amount of this movie. If the cinematic feast that Denis Villeneuve has promised for part 2 is anywhere as good as this, we are surely in for the ride of a lifetime. It seems fitting to end this month of video reviews, as well as this month that has been the best month for movies we've had this year, with what is arguably the best movie of the year so far. This movie blew me out of the water, and it is incredible around every corner, and I'm so excited for part 2. If you haven't seen this movie, see it. Simple as that. Next week will be my October summary video. Like I said, it was a great month for movies. I didn't get to talk about all the great movies I saw this month in video reviews because there's only so many videos I can do when juggling my Instagram, making these videos and doing my job and being in school. But that video gave me a good chance to at least give you some summarized thoughts on all of them. And of course, as usual, there's already a full written review on my Instagram for all of the movies I saw and more. Until then, follow my Instagram at FWPReviews100 for daily written reviews about the newest movies. And with that, this is FWP Reviews signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.